Since taking Accelerator, I have added a new provider. I'm working less in the clinic and more on the business, and my revenue has almost doubled, not quite doubled, since taking Accelerator. My name is Nick Hunter, and I own and operate Preferred Physical Therapy in Glendale, Arizona. It is primarily an in-network clinic. I have myself and one other provider, and right now we see on average 14 patients a day per provider, and we've been in business since October 2015, so almost 2 years. My Accelerator experience has been instrumental in identifying and strategizing around who my perfect patient is. Originally, when I first started my company, the reason why I did was because I found myself treating a patient population I didn't quite connect as much with, nor did I have as much passion around treating. It wasn't because they were a bad patient population, it was just that wasn't where I was. And during Accelerator, we do an assignment or a task where we identify who our perfect patient is. See, this perfect patient permeates into every decision that we make in what kind of experience we provide for that person. Now, it's not a type of people, it is a person. And that was one thing that really changed my perspective around, as far as things that guides my decision making, things that a consideration that changes the way I make business decisions. And I have found that the more I do that, the more I think about my perfect patient, the easier many of those business decisions have become. I feel like I see a lot of the reason why I wanted to share my Accelerator experience with so many others is because I feel like there's a lot of people out there like myself who have found that while they love providing patient care, there's certain things in it that they want to do or see done better. And I felt like I didn't have the training in how to appropriately take on that task. What I found in Accelerator was that it gave me the direction, it gave me the clarity that I needed to more effectively design and more effectively execute that atmosphere and that business to where I can treat the kinds of people I find myself more passionate in treating. What I've loved most about Accelerator is the fact that it's given me a lot more confidence and a lot more sense of being able to make decisions on a more stable foundation or platform. Before Accelerator, I found myself really unsure of what decisions I wanted to make. Not because they were bad decisions, but because I wasn't sure if this is the right direction I wanted to go or the right platform from which those decisions should be made. And I feel like now with Accelerator is my foundation has been much more secure, so that when I make decisions, the confidence and clarity to proceed or execute that plan has been much more comforting and peaceful. I sleep much better at night knowing that these decisions are being made based on the direction that we want to go as a company versus this background uncertainty that I found a lot of my decisions were falling into. The major problems I was having in my business before joining Accelerator was the identity in which the identity of the patient that we were serving. In that, I found as much as I wanted to be an outpatient orthopedic clinic, I found that everyone is an outpatient orthopedic clinic. So how am I going to compete with a lot of these bigger brand, bigger marketable companies when I go out and talk to whether referral coordinators, doctors, or individual patients? With Accelerator, it really helped me identify who is perfect for the setting that I provide. And when I talk to that individual that I've identified as my perfect patient, I have found that not only do I attract those individuals, but I also attract their children, their grandchildren, their parents, and it's been a much more fun and collective effort to see the kind of family atmosphere that we try and cultivate as a team, as a staff, but also then the interaction and family atmosphere that we collect as a patient population. And that has been rewarding more times over than I've ever imagined. I knew within a few months of opening that I did not have the answers to questions that I needed answered. And I knew I needed to reach out to someone who knew better. And in my attempts to find an appropriate mentor, whether they were former clinical instructors or other people in the same space that I was trying to occupy, there was never that focused or kind of strategic outline approach to success or a plan of things to implement effectively. There were some ideas or some things shared and some, do it that ways, but I felt like I was much more scattered. Whereas in Accelerator, the plan is laid out, the curriculum is clear, the execution is reasonable, and the support team that Paul offers in Accelerator was incredibly easy to deal with and ultimately much more rewarding and successful in our execution because of it. What has changed in my business since starting Accelerator is just about everything. In that we have, to even narrow it down for you, but it really has permeated every aspect of my business, where we now have Infusionsoft that we use not just for marketing purposes, but we also do it for staff training. We do Infusionsoft for hiring. We do all our onboarding with new patients through Infusionsoft. We do a discharge or an exit funnel for individuals. All of our marketing pieces have been influenced by Accelerator. I'm trying to even say what would be easier, what hasn't. I would probably say, I want to say it's equipment, but even that, purchasing equipment maybe not as much influenced by Accelerator, but even that, now that I consider who my perfect patient is, everything I purchase, I consider first how my perfect patient is going to utilize this, and is it something that my perfect patient is going to feel comfortable and feel confident will help them along in their journey and recovery. So I'm failing to find something that has not been influenced by taking Accelerator. My ability to make more confident and better decisions because of Accelerator, as I stated earlier, is that it's given me that solid foundation, that understanding that having some business acumen, having some business strategy has been so much more securing, so much more peaceful, so much more gratifying in knowing that I have a direction, that I have this foundation of an ability to reach out to my perfect patient and my preferred clientele, so that I can not only feel much more fulfilled in the kind of care I provide, but also to whom I'm providing that care. So it's been an incredible experience. One of the most surprising elements of the Accelerator program for me has been the community that it puts you in, of other like-minded physical therapists and business owners who are trying to do very similarly, of creating a business where they find a great deal of fulfillment and freedom. And what surprised me was how much it helped me know that I'm not the only one having similar difficulties or similar levels of concern or fear or worry, that other people are making similar mistakes that I am, and that as I read and keep up with all that goes on in the Facebook community of Accelerator, that I find that my learning curve for success is that much quicker, because I can see how people who may be a few business decisions ahead of me, how they navigated some of those things and some of the errors that they made, I can now avoid step altogether, because some of that has already been documented or shared. And I found an incredible amount of value in that. The ability to change my business dynamic and change a little bit of my model because of taking Accelerator is that I now have the confidence in knowing that I can find and still obtain patients out of network. As I get rid of some of the lower paying insurances, I'm able to provide better care to those individuals and to my patient population. I'm able to maintain time to those who are on better paying insurances, so that I'm not having to dilute my service to those who pay less. And so just the confidence in knowing that I can do that. I can clip away and trim down my insurance list because I know that I can make it on the back end. Just having the confidence in knowing that others who are doing it and who have done it, who are a few steps ahead of me, are still reaping the same kind of success and ability to execute on that plan. How much more confidence that I can do it too. So it's been incredibly effective in just helping give me a clarity. My big goal with Accelerator was to get my marketing, the referral percentages from 85-90% doctor generated and 15% word of mouth and direct to consumer generated, to then flip-flop that. So 80 to 90% of my referral is based on direct-to-consumer word of mouth referrals, and 10 to 20 now doctor generated. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm seeing that shift more rapidly as people come in who are seeing Yelp reviews, who are Facebook reviews, getting word of mouth referrals, and we haven't even scratched the surface in all that it's done and how to kind of create and plan these marketing systems. So I'm really excited as we unfold some of our other strategies that Accelerator teaches, see that number continue to shift dramatically. What I would say to other PTs who are thinking about joining Accelerator is that if it is your goal to find and attract patients that you find most joy in treating and creating a business which will give you more freedom of time and the hassles and worries of where patients are coming from, then Accelerator is absolutely the right tool for you. It'll help you not only solve and solve the issue of getting more patients, but also getting the right kind of patients, those whom you are looking to treat and those who you enjoy treating the most. The Accelerator program was absolutely worth the money because for me, putting a price on the kind of peace and clarity of mind I have in how I run my business is very difficult to do. And when I look at the price I paid, the amount of return I've had and just the understanding I have of how to more effectively run a business and a marketing campaign has been not even a concern of mine. Did I have any concerns in joining Accelerator? The answer, I was a little bit slow to do so initially, just because I wasn't sure exactly what all was going to be discussed. And once I read through everything that they were going to cover and I had a better understanding of what I wanted as a business, spending the money was very easy. It was a very easy check I wrote one time and didn't even think about it again. What I want other physical therapists to know that only they would understand with regards to this is that for as great as we are trained to be clinicians, we are equally that poor in how we're trained to be business owners. And if it is any goal of yours to be able to be free of the constant concern and worry of how the business is running, then Accelerator is absolutely your ticket to that understanding. My biggest takeaway from Accelerator was knowing that I now have a resource, I now have a group of people, and I now have a team of people who I can refer to, who I can ask questions, who I can go to for very reliable and competent answers to my business-related questions. What I would miss if I didn't take the Accelerator program would be the fact that previously I was working 50 to 60 hours a week in and on my business, and now I've been able to dial that down into a more reasonable number, between 40 and 50, and we're making more money. So I'm working less and making more money because of Accelerator, and we're just barely into it. We're just barely into the implementation of all the things that Accelerator has to offer.